Zhiyun Smooth 4 versus Zhiyun Smooth 5. Is it worth upgrading to the new one? Is the Smooth 5 actually any better? Well, in this video we will answer all of these questions. Hey, what's up guys, Julian from SmartphoneFilmmakingPro.com here, the ultimate online course about smartphone filmmaking. And today we have a very exciting one. Today we'll compare the Smooth 5 versus the Smooth 4 and we will answer the question if it's worth upgrading. Is it worth investing the extra cash? But let's get into that. I have divided this comparison into 7 different categories and the winner of each category gets a point. And also make sure to stay till the end because the last category is about all the cool knickknacks that the other reviewers are not telling you. And make sure to hit that subscribe button to not miss any of the future coverage of the Smooth 5 and also all the other smartphone gimbals. But now let's start with the comparison. And the first category is the price and the packaging content. The Smooth 4 currently retails for about $100 and for that you get a very big carrying case. This is kind of like a hard case compared to all the other smartphone gimbals. And inside the case you have a USB to USB Type-C cable, a little table tripod and the gimbal itself. The Smooth 5 on the other hand has the exact same packaging content, but instead of a very big hard case, you get a softer transportation pouch or case, however you want to call it. I think that both cases offer a very good layer of protection, and when you have your gimbal inside the case, it basically can't get broken. At the launch, the Smooth 5 costs around about $150 depending on where you live, and since the Smooth 4 is cheaper and the packaging content is pretty much the same, the first point goes to the predecessor, the Smooth 4. Next up, the second category is the balancing process. So both gimbal, the Zhiyun Smooth 4 and also the Zhiyun Smooth 5 basically work the same when it comes to the overall balancing process. One thing, however, that is very noticeable is that the Smooth 5 has a much bigger range on which you can slide the gimbal to the right and to the left to get the perfect balance. With the Smooth 4 on the other hand, the screw that you can loosen to change the position from right to left is just very small, and I found it a lot harder to get the perfect balance compared to the Smooth 5. Another thing that I didn't really like about the Smooth 4 is that when you want to change from horizontal to vertical shooting, you always have to loosen a screw, then change the position and then you tighten it again. With the Smooth 5 on the other hand, you just turn the clamp 90 degrees to change from vertical to horizontal or vice versa, however you like. So overall, I much prefer the Smooth 5 over the Smooth 4 when it comes to the balancing part. So this point clearly goes to the Smooth 5. The third category is about the buttons that the gimbal have. In my hands-on review of the Smooth 5, I go into all the buttons that the gimbal has into far greater detail. So in case you're interested in that, definitely hit that annotation up there. Generally speaking, when I was comparing the buttons of the Smooth 5 to the buttons of the Smooth 4, I found them to be pretty much identical. Both gimbals have pretty much the same buttons and both gimbals do the same when it comes to pressing the buttons. The layout is a little different and I feel like, you know, on the Smooth 5 it looks a little more clean and lean, but basically the buttons are more or less the same. However, one thing that makes the Smooth 5 way better compared to the Smooth 4 is the mode switching button that lets you switch between the different modes directly on the gimbal. There is nothing more annoying than having to switch into the gimbal app in case you just want to switch, you know, from the follow mode to a POV mode, for example. The fact that the Smooth 5 has a button that lets you switch between 5 different modes directly on the gimbal without having to use any app at all is just a huge plus to me personally. The Smooth 4 only lets you switch between the pan and follow and the lock mode, and that is basically it. It has more modes, you can access them with the ZY Cami app, but directly on the gimbal, this is everything that you get. So the buttons category clearly goes to the Smooth 5. Another thing that I wanted to mention here in the buttons area is that the Smooth 5 now also has a little joystick that you can use to pan and tilt your camera or your smartphone into any way that you want it to. So the Smooth 4 did not have anything like this. So another thing why this point clearly goes to the Smooth 5. Alright, so next up let's talk about the stability and the smoothness of the shots that you can get with either of these gimbals. And generally speaking, smartphone gimbals these days deliver absolutely amazing results. Well, at least if you know what you are doing. If you balance the gimbal correctly and in case you have a good ninja walk, you will get good shots no matter what gimbal that you're using. And in case you want to get some creative looking gimbal movements, you can check out smartphonefilmmakingpro.com. We are the ultimate online course about smartphone filmmaking with currently over 120 tutorials and well over 10 hours of super high valuable content. We are confident to say that we are the best platform for learning filmmaking with your smartphone. In case you're interested in that, in case you want to bump up your smartphone video quality, you can check out the first link below that like button to watch our totally free webinar where I share the top 5 secrets to shooting cinematic videos with your smartphone. But now let's get back to the smoothness of those two gimbals. When you are looking at the shots side by side, I do feel like you can notice that the Smooth 5 is a little smoother, and especially when it comes to windy conditions and in case you are running, then the Smooth 5 is noticeable smoother. And something that I have also noticed positively is the feeling you have when you are filming with either of them. When you are out there, when you are filming with the gimbals, you can feel that the Smooth 5 is feeling noticeable more stable, and you also feel like the motors don't struggle as much, and you feel like the motors are stronger when you're using this one. So I would also give this point to the Smooth 5, but again, you can also get great shots with the Smooth 4. Something that I found a little annoying with the Smooth 4 is that when you are just using it like this, it very often happens that you see the gimbal in your shot, especially if you are using the ultra wide angle lens. I did not find this problem as noticeable with the Smooth 5, so another thing that I prefer with the Smooth 5 over the Smooth 4. Next up, let's talk about the user friendliness. So like I already said, I'm not the biggest fan of the Smooth 4 because of the balancing, because of its size, and because of the lack of the mode switching button. Well, at least you only have this small one and you can only switch between 2 different modes. And you know, this gimbal is just very huge. You know, especially if you compare it to the OM5, for example, this is just a very big ass gimbal, and this almost reminds me of, like, you know, a proper DSLR gimbal and less of a small tiny smartphone gimbal. And you know, with the matter of fact that this only has a payload of 250 grams, you know, I feel like, you know, it's just not perfect for me personally. The Smooth 5 on the other hand, it's just smaller. Like I said, the button layout is easier, the balancing is also easier. So overall, I feel like, you know, it's just a much more user-friendly gimbal compared to its predecessor. But you always have to keep in mind that this gimbal is like 4 years old and this is brand new. So, you know, I'm happy that there is actually some progress going on. So as you probably have already guessed, I will also give this point to the Zhiyun Smooth 5. Also, something that I want to mention is that at the back here, you have a little lock button where you can lock all the different axes in case you are transporting your gimbal. And I have also transported it without the case, just where I put it in my backpack. And when you are locking the axes, I feel like this is, you know, just a very secure way of transporting your gimbal. But next up, let's talk about all the different modes that the Smooth 4 and the Smooth 5 have to offer. And like I already said, with the Smooth 4, you can unfortunately only change between the pan and follow and the lock modes directly on the gimbal, and that's basically it. You know, these two modes are of course the most versatile modes, and with these modes you can get away from most things, but compared to the Smooth 5, this is just a kindergarten. With the Smooth 5, you can change between the POV mode, a follow mode, a pan and follow mode, a lock mode, and something that is new and that is extremely cool, and that is the vertigo mode. And this basically lets you make a full 360-degree barrel roll without having to go into any app. And this is by far the best way of executing this on every smartphone gimbal. So no matter on which gimbal you're comparing this one, this will always be the winner in this category. So again, this category also clearly goes to the Zhiyun Smooth 5. Next category is the Filmic Pro Integration, and that is a category where both the Smooth 5 and also the Smooth 4 shine, because both have this integration natively. When you are using your phone with a gimbal and you want to get the absolute best quality possible, then basically I always recommend that you should use a proper video shooting app like Filmic Pro, for example. And the cool part about the Smooth 4 and the Smooth 5 is that they have a native integration with Filmic Pro, so you can use all the buttons that the gimbal have to offer, and you can control the gimbal and the app with the buttons that the gimbal have to offer for you. And since both gimbals have this option, there is no real advantage from one over the other, so this category is a draw, but generally speaking, this is just a very cool feature that both gimbals have. And the last category that we have for you is, well, let's call it everything else. The Smooth 5 has two little party tricks compared to the Smooth 4, and that are really great in my opinion. First off, it's the little light that you get with the Smooth 5 that has also color gels. This is not a huge light and this surely won't replace a big softbox, but for quick run and gun vlogging style shoots, this will come very much in handy in case you just need a little fill light or something like this. And the second party trick that the Smooth 5 has to offer is, like I already talked about, the 360-degree barrel roll, the vertex mode that you can access right on the gimbal. So again, also this category goes to the Smooth 5. Alright guys, so if you have skipped to this point, I can understand it, but let's come to the conclusion. Is it worth upgrading to the Smooth 5 if you already have the Smooth 4? And in my opinion, yes, 100%. The Smooth 5 is super easy to balance, it has a much better and much stronger motors, and it is not that huge, and just overall it feels more steady and more sturdy, and it just feels better, to be honest. However, if you are happy with your Smooth 4 or basically with any other gimbal that you might have at the moment, well then absolutely stick with this, because as always, it is much more important that you learn as a filmmaker and that you grow as a filmmaker compared to just upgrading to better gear. That's also why we have created Smartphone Filmmaking Pro. Like I said, in case you want to watch the webinar, it's below that like button. But yeah, overall, I feel like both gimbals are a great option. For me personally, I will go with the Smooth 5. This is also my new daily driver now. And yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed it. In case you have any further questions about this gimbal or about anything else in general, well, make sure to write me a comment down below. But that's it for now, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.